It's Monday Night Sports Talk on the AirNetwork.net. Welcome to a Monday edition of Monday Night Sports Talk. I guess that's when you would play it back. Monday night makes a lot of sense to me. That's why they titled it that. I'm Greg Banks in the studio. Joining us live on Skype tonight from Altoona, we've got Dave Shannon. Live from Huntington, Jeffrey Speck. And live from Johnstown, it's our guy, Jimmy Ty. Man, I tell you what, you guys are a hoot before we go on the air every week. I'm glad we weren't recording. Well, we did record that part, but it just will never get on the air, thank God.
We hope.
Escaped.
Yeah, we hope.
Hey, how you guys doing anyhow?
Hey, last week we were talking ice cream cones. Today went a totally different route.
Yeah, man. As Steve Boyko used to say.
Ice cream cone conversation.
Oh, man. Yeah, how do you get that? Anyhow, listen, that's an inside joke. But as our man Steve Boyko used to say, Dave, we just went the circuitous route.
Yes, we did. That was indeed circuitous.
But we're back home here. It's the AirNetwork.net. Welcome to it. If you have to want to talk about sports tonight, call us up, 814-619-4286. We're live on Monday night, and, of course, we rebroadcast throughout the week. But the live number, 814-619-4286. By the way, Jeff, real quick, I ran into Marty and Ginny yesterday, and they said they listened to this show, and they're going to call you tonight and razz you about something. I don't know what it is.
They probably like my Pittsburgh picks.
Well, that's what it was. Ginny said she's going to call you. So that number, Ginny, 814-619-4286. It was good to see both of them. Meanwhile, Jimmy was on the road this weekend.
867-5309.
Oh, don't throw that out. Jenny. Yeah, her name is Ginny, though, Ginny. And, yeah, her hubby is Marty. But anyhow, hey, how'd you guys make out over the weekend? Jimmy first, then Jeff and Dave on your Final Four matchups. Did it come out the way you expected, Jimmy? How'd that work out?
Well, first, I'd like to say congratulations to Brian Brazil for being the head coach at Bishop McCord High School here in Johnstown.
That's right, yeah.
So congratulations, Brian, if you're listening to the show. About my Final Four pick, I have 2 out of the 4 teams in the Final Four. I have Duke and Wisconsin in.
Okay.
And I told everybody beginning of the Final Four that Kentucky was going to fall.
Uh-huh.
And I thought they were going to lose to Notre Dame.
Right.
But a last second play by Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
2 free throws. There you go. Kentucky wins, but I had 2 out of the 4 teams.
Well, Jimmy, I don't know if anybody told you, but it was rehearsed that way. They did that just to get better ratings. So, they really weren't going to lose that game. But I know.
That wasn't a charge.
I know.
He never charged. His feet were in position.
Well, that was a part of the rehearsal that they screwed up. See, according to the plan, no. Anyhow, Jeff, how'd you make out on your Final Four this weekend?
Well, let's see. Villanova took care of me the weekend before, big time. But I still have Wisconsin hanging in there, baby. That's what I'm left with, because I was one of those people that didn't have Kentucky making it to the Final Four. But guess what? I was wrong.
Well, I had everybody in there: Kentucky, Wisconsin. I think I even had Arizona, so I'm out on Arizona. I'm not so sure about. Well, Michigan State I didn't have. Dave, is there anybody that you're missing off of your bracket at this point? There's Wisconsin and Kentucky, of course, playing, and then Michigan State and Duke. Anybody?
No, not really. I mean, other than just, wishing the best for some of the teams. And West Virginia does make it out, and then they got a reality check on
my God, they got a reality check. That game, that was almost like a UConn women's game there for a second, man.
Exactly. Who was the player hiding in the bathroom afterwards, the one that made the promise West Virginia win? Couldn't be found.
The guy that made the promise for West Virginia, his stat line for that night.
Yeah, no
0 points,
right? No
1
points.
rebound. One rebound.
How many?
Get it done.
How many minutes?
The whole game.
He played the whole game, Dave.
The whole game.
Yeah, the whole game. Now, word to Wisconsin, do not smack talk at all Kentucky, because they will come back.
Well, they just that kid just pissed him off, and like Jeff was alluding to, or somebody, he was hiding in the bathroom afterwards. They wanted to interview him. But, that's how you learn, guys. Let's face it. You're a young guy. You're 18, 19 years old. You shoot off your mouth, and you're trash talking before you get to the game. You become a part of the bulletin board material, and Kentucky gave West Virginia a spanking. And you know what? If I were the other team members of West Virginia, he'd have got a spanking at the end of the game. Seriously.
If I was Paul Huggins, I would give him a spanking.
Oh, yeah. And that was just so bizarre.
Coach Huggins is big enough to give several of those guys.
Exactly. Hey, well, let me ask you real quick, Jeff. Did the Notre Dame expose Kentucky's weaknesses in that game, do you think?
Hey, as I've said before, Kentucky is not invincible, but boy, they look like it. But they're like that goat out on the ledge that finds the right step to make it to the top, and that's what they're doing. I mean, all the credit to Notre Dame.
Oh,
what
no
a game! I was looking forward to the Izzo Patino matchup, and that played out super. But who could have wanted more out of Notre Dame?
Yeah, it was certainly a shocker. There was no doubt. I mean, not the Notre Dame game, but again, as we progress through the weekend with some of these other games, Jimmy, can Kaminsky and Decker for Wisconsin help pull off this upset against Kentucky? Seriously.
Definitely. Yeah. Right now, Sam Decker's the hottest player in the NCAA tournament. He had about 27 points last the other night. Before that, he had like 23 points. So Wisconsin's going to pull out Decker out to the three-point line. He's a 6'9" player. They're going to bring one of their bigs out there to guard him. Kaminsky, he's just overall the best player right now in college basketball. So, yes, with them two guys hot like that.
Yeah.
And on top of that,
and you put Nigel Hayes in that too, boy.
Nigel Hayes. And on top of that, Wisconsin is deadly from the foul line.
Yeah.
So if you foul them, they're going to make at least 18 and 19 shots from the foul line.
Well, you know yourself, Kentucky has three guys on the court that are kind of big guys. They have some good guard play. The only thing I see lacking in this upcoming game, truthfully, might be the guard play of perhaps Wisconsin. And I don't know how they're going to match up on these big guys. But Dave, what do you think about this? It's the Big Ten has two teams in the Final Four this year with Michigan State and Wisconsin. Are you surprised about that?
Yeah, to a degree. I'll tell you one thing that worries me about Wisconsin. I don't know if anybody in the group here watched that championship game for the Big Ten Conference tournament. But Wisconsin had their weaknesses exposed in that game. And I thought there was now maybe that was a good time to have that game, have that kind of a game. Heading into the NCAA tournament, because maybe that made them a little bit more, things may have been coming what they thought was easily to them.
Yeah.
And it may have been a wake-up call to get them back in gear then for the big dance. But that sticks in my mind. They really folded there in that game. They did come back and win it, but the bottom line was they had some potential weaknesses that were exposed there.
Well, you got to admit, Jimmy, not all of us, we didn't talk about the Big Ten a lot this year. I mean, so to me, it's a surprise to even see that they have two teams going into the Final Four this year.
Everybody in America talked about this year how weak the Big Ten basketball was. Mm-hmm. And then you look on Twitter, Sam Decker saying, Big Ten, weak, really? Yeah. Kaminsky, the same thing. Uh-huh. Nobody really talked about how strong the Big Ten is.
Yeah.
They all talked about how weak it is. They talked about how strong the ACC is or how strong the SEC is.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. ACC has one team in, SEC has a team in. Jeff, when you look back on this, maybe Big Ten isn't as weak as we thought. They had Ohio State. Obviously, you had Notre Dame was somehow in that mix, I guess. I don't know what division or league they're
ACC.
Actually in. Are they ACC? But you had
Iowa.
You had Iowa. You had Michigan State.
Yeah.
So to me, even though the talk was, well, they're pretty weak, I really thought at least some mid-major like Wichita would at least emerge in the Final Four this year. Did you gather that same thing, Jeff? Like maybe one of those teams would have emerged?
Well, Michigan State is no surprise. I mean, I'm an Izzo fan, and I guess maybe I get a little jaded and maybe get some John Desai there because let's look at our Big Ten entry in Penn State.
That's true, yeah.
And I think that maybe sometimes biases what we think around here because we look at what's being offered at BJC and kind of laugh it off maybe and not taking a true hard look at it. But I'll tell you, I think I still think Wisconsin they might be the one that pulls this off because I think Kaminsky, Decker, Hayes they're tall, they're strong enough to defend the Wildcats 7-footers and as we saw they can shoot. So
well, let me ask you because you had mentioned Tom Izzo, is he looking like a genius now because they had a rather slow start this season, Michigan State, and then when they got to the Big Ten championship they seemed to start moving, perpetually getting more steam. Does that
get
surprise you?
It's all about hitting it at the right time, and
Yeah.
they are knocking it down now. And they're, I guess the big key in basketball, don't wear out those legs, don't peak too early. And Michigan State seems to be right on target. And Izzo, I'll tell you, I'll take him, put him up against anyone. And as much as I was looking at Patino and Izzo, now to think Coach K and Izzo meeting up, that's just great.
Well, what do you think, Dave? Dave,
the thing I look at,
go ahead,
the
Jimmy.
thing I look at with Michigan State. You ever
Right.
see Space Jam with
Yeah.
Michael Jordan?
Mhm.
And you see the little aliens whenever they first got into the meet Jordan. They were small, little, tiny people, right?
Jimmy, how many times did you watch that?
Well,
No, I seriously
watched
want to
it,
know.
Lucy.
I only ever watched it once, but I mean, how many
Yeah,
times seriously
but-
did you watch that?
a few.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
But Michigan State in November and December are like the little aliens.
Okay.
But when it comes time for March Madness, they grow up like the super monsters.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to get at, because it's the way Izzo teaches his players. He knows that March Madness is key.
Well, speaking of players, you have seen, and we've all seen, Travis Trice. You think he's one of the most complete players you've watched in this whole tournament, Jimmy? Real quick.
Yes,
Okay.
he can shoot the ball, he can pass, he can do it all.
All right, I just wanted to find out. Dave, let's go back round robin here. Notre Dame versus Kentucky. Who wins that game, by the way, coming up this weekend?
You mean Duke and Kentucky?
Okay, yes, it's Duke in Kentucky. Is it Duke in Kentucky, or do I have...
It's Duke, Michigan State.
Yeah, Kentucky,
Duke,
Wisconsin
Michigan
is
State.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It'll be, I'm sorry, Kentucky versus Wisconsin. Dave.
Yes. I'm going to go. I'm going to say Kentucky finishes that out.
Okay, Jeff, you're next, and then Jimmy.
I'll tell you, I'm going with Sam Decker. That guy's just been impressing the hell out of me this tournament, and I'm going to say that you've had a week to prepare. I'm going to give Wisconsin a legit shot.
Okay, Jimmy, your prediction on that game, Kentucky-Wisconsin.
Experience plus with Frank the Tank, it's going to be Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay. Well, let's go.
And haters,
Go ahead.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Haters gonna.
Well, yeah. And I'm looking back here on, I try to keep some notes here, and I saw this Notre Dame, of course, exposing Kentucky's weakness. That's why I thought Notre Dame and Kentucky. But there again, one of the things I wanted to note, Dave, talk a little bit about then the other game. On the other hand, Michigan State-Duke. Who do you like in that game?
I'm going to go with Duke. I'm sorry. What am I thinking?
Well,
I was thinking that I in my mind, I don't think Duke is up for that, and I think with that win over the weekend, I think Michigan State rolls into the championship game.
So you actually think they have the momentum now going into this game, then, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
And Jeff, I can only surmise, since you like Izzo so much, you like Michigan State over Duke.
I'm right there with the Spartans, and that group of freshmen. I'm telling you, I'm Michigan State.
Yeah, Jimmy,
Yeah.
could there actually be an upset in that game, Jimmy? Seriously,
No, Duke's the whole way.
the whole way. Okay, in the national championship, then I'm hearing you guys telling me that Kentucky and Michigan State will probably be in the championship game. Then.
Yep. Those guys are saying Wisconsin, baby. You got to get
I'm
to that.
Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
I'm Wisconsin.
Yep,
I'm the
I'm
only
going
Kentucky
Wisconsin.
guy.
Okay,
I'm
on
the-
Wisconsin then. On Wisconsin. I mean, I'm not going to.
No, don't put me on the record. I'm a Kentucky guy.
Okay. I am pretty much too, and maybe a lot of that's because emotionally, I like to see somebody, again, in my lifetime go 40-0, or at least this team go 40-0. I think they kind of deserve it. You think emotions plays a lot into these predictions that people make this week at the water cooler, Jeff?
I don't. Yeah, I'm sure, and I think we heard the word hater a while ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes into it, and there's that two-sided coin that I carry around. Boy, I want to see that 40-0 for the history, but
Yeah.
then for some reason we're a country that likes to see the big guy fall and the little underdog come up if there's really an underdog in this Final Four.
Yeah, and I really thought the big dog was going to fall on Saturday, by the way, in that Notre Dame game. So, again, we'll see how this thing all pans out. Jimmy, your prediction in the finals this year in the NCAA.
First off, there was a team that won 40-0 in your lifetime, Greg, and
That's
that was
what I said.
Baylor.
That's right.
The Baylor girls. The Baylor girls with Brittany Griner.
Well, that's true. That's true. And I'm sure the Connecticut girls probably went undefeated at some given time as well,
Yes.
you know.
But my prediction's going to be Wisconsin over Duke, with Sam Decker, the hottest player right now in the NCAAs. I love that guy. He's awesome. I just think Wisconsin the whole way.
Okay, come on, Dave. Is Kentucky going to win this whole thing?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you. Somebody agrees with me.
State, it's Kentucky.
Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah, the bluegrass states. So kudos. And, hey, we'll find out probably next week, guys. We'll talk more about the NCAA tournament. And the only reason I'm kind of stopping here is this one computer that I use for commercials decided to update itself during this show. Now, the same thing happened last week. How many damn updates do we need on these computers? That's what I want to know.
Now you know how Mr. Gates got filthy rich.
Oh, no kidding. You know, and it happens at the most inopportune time. How comes it couldn't happen all day, you know? Hey, let me ask you guys this. Pirates wrapping up spring training this week. What promising signs have you seen as they get set to open up with the Reds next Monday? Dave, we'll start with you.
I'm really kind of surprised, and maybe I'll have to change my tune. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out once the lights come on, so to speak. I'm still concerned about what goes on behind the plate. I think your catcher is your quarterback.
Yeah.
And, let's throw the spring training things out and see what we end up with there behind the plate. I may be able to give you a better opinion next week sometime after they have some regular season games under their belt and we see how the catching situation goes. But that to me is still the big question. Pretty impressed with some other things. I don't know where Jang is going to go.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if that's going to be it may evolve into a full-time thing. I know.
Or Kong or whatever they call this guy.
Yeah, whatever.
Jang Kong.
Yeah, I don't know. Take your pick.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is he's been having trouble with American pitching. This is something that happens with most of the position players that come from an Asian country and just have outstanding seasons in Asia. And, there's exceptions to every rule.
Right.
That can happen. But right now he's not showing that he can be an exception. He seems to have trouble with the pitchers in the United States are a lot better at picking corners, pitching on the corners, and he's having trouble with that. So,
well, not to mention the language too, but that's going to come sooner or later. That's how that goes. So,
yeah.
Hey, Jeffrey, let's ask, as we're on that subject, who starts behind the plate then on Monday when they take on the Reds? Who will it be? Sanchez or Belly?
Yeah, Cervelli, I think so. I think that was already. I think that's already kind of named that he's going to be out there. But and Dave hit it right on the head. I mean, you don't replace a Russell Martin every day, and that was a big key. I mean, you look at what he was able to gun down and keep at first base the last couple of years. I think that's going to be the telltale story for the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. I mean, you look. I mean, it's not an outstanding starting rotation, but it should be a little bit above average in the league. Yeah. And then you've got coming out of the bullpen with Melanson, Watson, and Hughes. I mean, they should be solid and expect good things there. But the key's going to be that guy that's behind the plate and see what happens there.
Yeah, exactly. And Jimmy, over the week I found out that Tabitha was cut. And Kutch cut his dreads. Was that a good sign or bad sign for the Pirates? Come on.
It's a good sign for the Pirates, for Kutch. New look, new attitude, new year. But everybody's talking about Cervelli behind the plate and this and that. The key to the Pirates last year, if you look, Pedro Alvarez struck out so many times. He had a lot of errors in the field at third base. In spring training, Pedro is lighting up the bat.
Okay.
He's lighting up the bat at first base. I think that's going to be a key with Pedro now more focused, because before he was too worried about the errors and he would get up and he would strike out.
Yeah.
So now I think Pedro is a key to the Pirates' success. And then with them bringing on A.J. Burnett, I think that would be perfect.
Well, let's talk some more Pirates in a minute. Give us a call, 814-619-4286, 814-619-4286. It's Monday Night Sports Talk. Greg Banks in the studio, Dave Shannon, Altoona, Jeff Speck, Huntington, and we've got Jimmy Ty in Johnstown. We'll be talking a little bit about the Steelers. There's an announcement that's going to be made. In addition to that, Erie Explosion kicking off their season. And how about them Penguins? All the details on that and more coming up next.
Hey, Frank, some of us are going out for lunch. Want to join?
No, thanks. I won't be able to make it for a while. My son's heading to a 4-year university this fall, and I'm watching every penny I can to help him with tuition.
Yeah, that can be so expensive. My daughter decided to go to Pennsylvania Highlands Community College. She'll earn her associate degree in 2 years before transferring to earn her bachelor's. I'll be able to save thousands by her attending Penn Highlands first.
Pennsylvania Highlands, really? My son is stuck on attending a 4-year university right away, far from home.
My daughter was the same until I explained to her that she'd end up with the same degree and far less debt. I don't want to see her starting out her adult life with a lot of debt. Penn Highlands just made the most sense. So, enjoy lunch.
Hey, wait for me.
I thought you couldn't afford to eat out.
That was before you mentioned Penn Highlands. How do I find out how to get my son enrolled?
I'll fill you in over lunch, but start by visiting Pennsylvania Highlands online at pennhighlands.edu.
Kick off your appetite with great food from Original Italian Pizza in downtown Huntington, where Bearcat fans huddle up before and after the big game. OIP in downtown Huntington provides your taste buds with appetizers, dinners, pizzas, subs, and so much more. Stop by OIP in downtown Huntington for a sandwich, meal, and cold drinks 7 days a week, or call ahead for takeouts at 643-0665 or 643-0666. OIP in downtown Huntington with the best food and the lowest prices in town.
If you're searching for a used vehicle, or perhaps a used boat for a leisurely trip on the lake, find them today online at penswoods.net. From things for sale or things to buy, the free classifieds at penswoods.net have it all. From houses for sale, apartments for rent, or even things to trade, penswoods.net is the region's largest site for free classifieds. Check it out today and make money or save money at penswoods.net. I was just sitting here telling the guys that I need to get up on my movie trivia like Jimmy and watch that Space Jams maybe once or twice again so I can kind of be up on what's happening in that movie. Michael Jordan was in that. Bugs Bunny was in that. And I got it kind of confused with the movie that Shaq was in. That was Shazam, right, Jimmy?
Yes, so Shazam.
Okay, now I'll get it straight. But there's a lot of sports movies I haven't watched, and unfortunately I never really watched that one a lot, nor Shazam, and I'm just going to have to maybe wait till next winter when I have time to do that. Hey, Dave, you said there was an interesting announcement made about Jeff Locke in the Pirates. What was that announcement that was made?
Jeff Locke is now your 5th starter for the Pirates, and your starting rotation is as follows: Liriano, Cole, Burnett, Locke, Morton. Now they're calling Locke the 5th starter, and he's going to start in front of he's going to start in front of Charlie Morton. I think there's a particular matchup they're looking at there in Milwaukee, the second series of the season. But that's your starting rotation: Liriano, Cole, Burnett, then Locke and Morton. And Vance Worley heads to the pen.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay. So that competition didn't last long, but, that was a competition that we were looking forward to, who was going to be the number 5 starter. Meanwhile,
Hey, Greg, I think one thing you can consider, and that is, I would say Jeff Locke is, since we were around tournament time here, he's on the bubble.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think that could flip-flop between him and Worley, depending on how
his performance is.
How his first couple starts go. Here's one thing to note as a difference between the two. Vance Worley had an 11-1 strikeouts to walk ratio, 11-1 this spring, while Locke had 11 strikeouts but had 5 walks in 3 1/3 fewer innings pitched.
Okay.
So I'd say Locke's on the bubble, but right now he got the nod.
And we got the news the other day that outfielder Jose Tabata was one of those 12 cut from the Pirates roster a couple of mornings ago. He was competing for actually the final bench spot as a 4th outfielder. He's been reassigned to minor league camp, also reassigned right-handers DeLois Guerra, Josh Wall, Brad Lincoln, and there's a bunch of other guys I never even saw or knew were in camp. But nonetheless, having said that, Jimmy, What's your prediction on the Pirates this season? You think they can put it together and make a run for it into the deep into the season this year?
Everybody says that the Pirates are going to win the division. For them to win the division, they have to beat the hump on their back, and that is St. Louis.
Okay.
So I think they're going to probably get another wild card or fight for a wild card position this year.
Yeah, Jeff, what's
Honestly,
your feeling? Yeah, what's your feelings on that? Because I was waiting for Jenny to call us at 814-619-4286 to razz Jeff a little bit about the Pirates. Your feeling, Jeff, on the Pirates?
Well, I think the Pirates once again until the Cardinals get knocked off, they're my pick. But I'll tell you, the Cubs. Hey, let's.
What about
the
the
Cubs?
Yeah.
The Cubs are the Cubs, but I think this could actually be probably, if not the best, at least one of the top two divisions this year with Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs. But I still have to give the nod to the Cardinals at this point. But I see the Pirates with easily hitting 88, 89 wins this year.
Hey, what's the deal with the Cubs sending this kid, this brilliant kid that's knocked a bunch of homers throughout spring training back down to AAA? Do you think he's going to stay down there long?
I couldn't imagine long, but the Cubs, like I say, they are what they are, and I could see him coming back up real quick. And it's just, I just think this is going to be a battle. And unfortunately, I think the Cards come out on top. I think the Pirates do make it into their third year in a row into the playoffs.
Right.
And the thing this year, hopefully they'll have a little staying power and make it past one.
Well, I'm looking forward to the season. The best of luck to the Pirates. They kick off the season, by the way, Monday against the Cincinnati Reds. Meanwhile, let's move on to football real quick, Dave. Got news this afternoon before coming on the show that Mr. Rooney is expected to make some kind of an announcement tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock regarding the Steelers. They didn't allude to what the announcement would be. What would you think that announcement would be?
That's a good question.
It wouldn't be about Troy, would it? Because I understand Tomlin is down at Pirate Camp hanging out with Clint Hurdle as of today. They would never make that kind of announcement without Tomlin in the area, do you think?
You would think not. I mean, I don't know if there's something else surrounding the club. The only other thing I know that's been going on that's kind of outside the purview of the game is the fact that Heinz Field is going to remain Heinz Field despite the merger with Kraft.
Okay.
I did hear that. I don't know. Maybe that's the announcement. I don't know if he's going to make that announcement.
That's right, because Kraft just bought out Heinz and 57 other varieties, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think Rooney's also been having meetings, though, with the Four Seasons hotel chain. He's really excited about a big announcement coming forth rather quickly. They want to add hotel rooms in Pittsburgh and the area in the hopes that Pittsburgh hosts the next North version
that's right.
of the Super Bowl.
That's
right. But, now what I think they're saying that NFL would have initially liked like 30,000 hotel rooms, but they think that Pittsburgh, the size of the stadium, of course, being smaller, that they might be able to get by with 19,000 rooms. And I think that meeting took place over the weekend or late last week with Four Seasons and some other big hotel chains. So, and I think they're shooting for like 2019 or something like that, which would, if they've got an announcement on, might not be Steeler related, but hey, if anyone has a right in a northern city to host, you'd think it's the Steelers with their Super Bowl legacy.
Hey,
I'm putting my bets on hotel announcement.
Okay, that may be what it is. We hope that's the case. Hey, meanwhile, let's go to the phone lines here. We have somebody on the air. Hi, who's this?
Hello.
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 Hello. You're on Monday Night Sports Talk. You want to talk to us? I think they hung up on us.
Yeah,
They're just kind of dicking us around here. You know what? Let's call them back just as a joke. Because, April Fool's Day, what day is that?
It's coming
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All right, well, since they're going to prank us and yank us, let's call them. But, hey, in the interim, let's see who this is. Because, numbers just come up, and I just answer it. So that's all we do. It says, answering this call will put you active call on hold. What's that mean?
Let's find out.
Yeah. Hello, you're calling Monday Night Sports Talk. Who's this? It might be your friend Jenny calling in. Huh?
She's in stealth mode.
Okay.
Oh, I just saw the number flash up. I think that's exactly who it was.
Well, you see that you gotta. Well, they just.
They're gone. That's AJ Burnett's permanent date in Huntington.
Yeah,
every time he comes to Huntington.
Yeah, I just met her yesterday along with her husband Marty. So let's see. Hi, Jenny. Is this Jenny?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Jenny, how are you?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
I'm great. Guys, are you still on with me? I hope I didn't just knock them off. I think we just knocked them off. Well, anyhow, Jenny,
Yes.
you know what? Can I call you back in just a second?
Yep, that
Okay.
you sure can.
Okay, let me call you right back. Thank you.
All right.
All right, that's our friend Jenny. She's calling into the show tonight because she wants to talk a little, she wants to talk a little Pirate baseball. I got Dave back on. Let's see, Jimmy, you back on?
Hello, I'm back
Hello?
on.
Do we have Jeff back on?
Check, check, check.
Hey, well, guess who that was?
Who was?
Remember our friend Jenny we were talking about?
Yeah.
Indeed.
That was her. And, when I went to bring her up, all of a sudden you guys got lost.
Hey.
So she said I can call her back. And
She's calling in again.
well, see now,
That was half cute.
What is that?
Hello?
there's Jenny. Jenny, are you on the line?
Jimmy.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, we're doing good. Getting the field cleaned up tonight, putting some more signs up. It's not long till Little League first pitch, babe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's right. I can't wait.
Jenny, you and Marty are very active in Little League Baseball down there, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
All kinds of baseball. I forgot all about that. I have not seen Marty since he was a kid. And so it was kind of hard when I looked at him. I'm like, I remember all those Everhart kids. Now this must have, was he the baby?
No, Marty's the third one.
The third one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But nonetheless, listen, dear, I'm sorry we hung up on you, but I had to get the guys back up. We have Jimmy Ty in Johnstown, Jeff Speck, of course, in Huntington, and Dave Shannon in Altoona. We get together every Monday night on Monday Night Sports Talk to talk about sports. What is it that you like about the Pirates this year? Tell us a little bit about your connection to the Pirates.
I am a big A.J. Burnett fan.
Mm-hmm.
I have been a big Pittsburgh Pirate fan since I have been little. My father was a big Pirate fan.
Okay.
So I have been I'd say my 52 years of being married or living today, I have been a big Pirate fan from the time of Willie Sturgill up to now to the gang right now. But I'm a big Pittsburgh Pirate fan.
Well, let me ask you this.
Coincidentally, ask her who her husband coaches in the Huntington Little League.
Does he coach perhaps the Pirates?
You got it.
Okay. And, Jeff, you remember back to the days of Bob Wright and those guys when they were coaching Little League, and your dad was coaching Little League.
Yep.
Jeez.
Bob Wright. You got Mr. McNeil, and, oh, boy, you go back. Oh, in fact, those are the
Darley
guys
Black.
Yep, those were the guys with the 1966 state championship team from Huntington.
How about that? Mr. Ross was a part of that coaching team back in those days. Jimmy, go ahead and ask Jenny a question.
Jenny, this is Jimmy back here in Johnstown. How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
All right, question for you. AJ played for the Pirates, and then he decides, you know what, I'm going to go over to the hated Philadelphia Phillies.
Right.
How did you feel about him being a AJ fan? How did you feel about him being on a Phillies, playing for Philadelphia?
I knew he was. There was some hard feelings there that he didn't make that rotation, and that when they were in the playoff game there, he didn't make that rotation, and he was upset with Clint Hurdle. And I knew probably that he was going to be shipped. He didn't want to play any longer. He was upset, but he wasn't happy in Philadelphia.
Well, do you think it was about the money, too? Because he did get paid a little bit better, I think, in Philadelphia, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did. He did.
Go ahead, guys. While we have Jenny on the line, ask her your questions.
So how much trouble am I in for picking the Cardinals over the Pirates, as much as I'd like to see the Pirates in the top spot?
Hey,
kick my butt.
Mr. Jeff, you guys will be fighting, but, hey, I think the Pirates are going to beat the Cardinals, honest.
I hope you're right.
I don't think the Cardinals are going to give them a rough time. I think that the rough time they're going to have, if they play them, is Baltimore, the way it looks like in spring training. Baltimore's been giving them a rough time.
Yeah.
Well.
Hey, well, let me ask you this. How many home games do you make it out there to see the Pirates play you and Marty?
Well, we're going to try to make a good bit because I want to see AJ be able to pitch. Marty's been trying to figure out the rotation. So I know we're going to good many. I don't know yet because we're getting ready for a big wedding in September.
Oh, okay, Dave, didn't you get the rotation? Dave got the rotation today. Now, that doesn't That's not stuck and etched in stone, is it, Dave?
Right.
Well, it will be for the first 5.
Okay.
So, you got
Yeah, he's going to be what, 4th?
number 3.
He'll be
AJ
number 3.
3rd. Yeah, it's going to be Liriano, Cole, AJ, then Jeff Locke, Charlie Morton.
That's what we thought. Marty and I thought at first, but when Charlie Morton didn't pan out there, I figured he was going to go to the 3rd spot. That's what I figured. That's where he was going to end up.
Well, that's the beginning of the season, though, Jenny. We don't know. After June or July, that could all change.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Don't know how they're going to do, but I think he's going to do well. I mean, he might go, I'd say 80, 90 pitches.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And I don't think he'll go 100. I mean, he is 38 years old, but I say he'll do 80 or 90, but I think he's going to do well.
Well, this will definitely be his last season, you think, then? I mean, I think he pretty much already said that, right?
Well, yeah, but I think you're going to see him stay in Pittsburgh. I think you're going to probably see him on the coaching staff.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The thing about AJ Burnett is the only reason he went to Philadelphia, he wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. He loved Clint Hurdle. He loved the Pirates organization, but he wanted to be closer to his family.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That was it. He wanted to be closer to his family. He did that. He felt he wasn't respected in Philadelphia. Like Jenny said, he wasn't in the rotation that much. So no, he comes back to Pittsburgh. He's going to stay in Pittsburgh. This is where he had his best part of his career. It was in a Pirates uniform.
Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. Hey, Jenny, we want to thank you for coming on the show, but listen, give a shout out to anybody you want to right now, and then give out our phone number. We don't care. They can call us, and we'll talk about anything. How's that?
That's fine. That's fine. But Steve, Marty has 16 years of coaching Huntington Little League. We have nobody involved.
Wow. And I want to thank him because, Jeff and I and a bunch of other guys grew up in Huntington Little League down there by Stone Creek, and I'm glad to see Marty has carried on the tradition. Because, at one time, I don't know if he was related to Don Everhart, but there's another name, huh, Jeff? Don Everhart.
Hold on. Here he is, Steve. You can talk to Marty.
Okay, Marty, you on the line?
Yeah, I'm on here now.
All right, Marty. Now, I remember you as one of the younger Everharts, okay? I remember Mark, I believe, and probably your parents, too. But more importantly, were you related to Don Everhart that coached in Huntington many, many years ago?
No, he's through the Everharts in Alexandria. We're related to the Everharts down in South Hill and Three Springs area.
Oh, okay. But you grew up pretty much in Huntington, though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, tell us a little bit real quick about opening season, because you guys I heard you had Tag Day down there recently. Is that right?
Yeah, it was very cold Friday and Saturday. I mean, Jenny said she looked at the temperature one time. It was 16 degrees Saturday morning.
That's got to be one of the coldest Tag Days in recent memory, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Without giving a dollar amount out, the kids did a tremendous job, and wow, the people opened up their wallets and their hearts and really came through.
Did they really? Well, fantastic. Yeah. People in Huntington really support Little League Baseball, and it really is a fine tradition because, as Jeff noted, back in 1966, I was an alternate on that state championship team, and I played the following year as a 12-year-old as an all-star. But having said that, let me tell you something, Jeff. As far as announcers, Ray Day was one of the PA announcers. Okay, Ray Day.
Yep.
Dave Linton. Do you remember Dave?
I worked with Dave Linton up in the squirrel's nest.
There you go. And I don't know if you remember this, but at one time Stu Kurtz even came down and announced from time to time, who is now the presiding, I guess, senior judge there in Huntington County. So it has a real traditional history, Huntington Little League. Marty, I just wanted to tell you to keep up the good work, man.
Okay, thank you, Greg.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll stop down and check you guys out. I'll be down there definitely because I'll be down there fishing on the creek, man. And
I thought Jeff was gonna talk to you about coming down Saturday morning.
Well, you know what?
Opening day.
Well,
on the 11th, we're going to have a pretty special opening day ceremony.
Is it on the 11th?
On April 11th, 2 weeks from this past Saturday.
Well, you know what, Marty? I'll be down there for sure that day because of the fact that I have a meeting on that Sunday. So we'll keep that among ourselves, and we'll talk on Facebook. How's that sound?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank Jenny again for us. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All
All
right.
right, bye.
Jenny and Marty Everhart out of the Huntington area. You know, they've been threatening to call us for the longest time, Jeff. You know how that is.
And I'll tell you, they love their Pirates, and they love the game. And now they have their son Adam helps with the Pirates down in the Little League with his dad, and just a great family. And I mean, they are there for the right purpose. They are there for the kids.
And if I remember correctly, Adam just played high school baseball not too long ago, didn't he?
Oh yeah, and I'll tell you that boy out on the mound, he could bring it.
All right. Well, I appreciate them coming on the show. We finally got them on. It is Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. Greg Banks in the studio. Jimmy Ty is in Johnstown. Jeff Speck is in Huntington. Dave Shannon's going to have to roll pretty soon. But before I let him go, he's in Altoona. Dave, let me ask you a couple questions about the NFL, a couple of things that just came up over the weekend. First of all, Bill Belichick wants the NFL to install cameras in the end zones. Now, I know we have camera coverage in the end zones with the network, but he wants specifically cameras on the end zone, to which the NFL said, oh, you know, that might be cost prohibitive. And then they changed their mind and said they'll look into it. Cost prohibitive, Dave. This is $1 billion corporation. You think they could afford a couple cameras?
That's absurd. I mean, you look at the other leagues and what they've done. Look at what the NHL
right.
in all confidence, was the first one to kind of jump out and say, okay, we have a place in Toronto where every game is there. They installed cameras in every arena right above the net, so you can see whether a puck crossed the goal line. And even with all of that expense, sometimes it's still tough to figure out whether the puck went across. But they did install that everywhere. You have those cameras above both goals in the NHL. Major League Baseball instituted replay last year and got off and rolling reasonably well. I was kind of disappointed. I think the league was, too, in some of the times that it took to decide calls.
Yeah.
But, hey, everything is not cut and dried. You know, even with the NFL, the replays that they have, you know how long those reviews take.
Oh, yeah.
But the bottom line is that is something that comes into play all the time, and you got to be kidding me that you don't have a full-time, static camera that's wired into the stadium that's going to watch that. That's, poor babies. You don't have enough.
Even if you spend $500,000 on camera, well, you could, there again, the teams, it's like they make money, Jeff. It's not like you can't afford to get a couple of cameras installed in your stadium. You know what I mean?
If there's one professional organization we'd want to hear poor mouthing, that's why it's the NFL. Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to have a bake sale or hold a tag day.
No, I don't think so either. Not like the Huntington Little League, because they might raise a lot of money. If they did that in the NFL.
With the sales of the Tony Romo jersey.
Oh yeah, there you go. Hey Jimmy, I want to ask you this question. Now the NFL is contemplating changing this extra point thing. Let's start with you, man. If you were in charge, what would you do with the extra point? Would you eliminate it, or would you change this thing?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I would say, I think I would keep it because it gives the kicker something to do instead of just standing there.
But listen, wait a minute.
So just say.
But you can eliminate a job if you get rid of this kicker. He's just a nuisance anyhow. All he's doing is coming out and getting an automatic, okay? I mean, I'm joking, obviously. But seriously, Jeff, what would you do if you were in charge? Would you keep the extra point the way it is? You're going to change it, narrow the goalposts? I mean, what kind of decision do they have to make?
I just like it because we all take it as automatic, but boy, it could, in the freak chance, it could really change the outcome of a football game. Every once in a while, you just have to take care of the basics and do the automatic stuff to make it count. And maybe I'm old school on this one, but keep it the way it is.
Dave, who catches more hell in a locker room than a rookie punter or a place kicker or, a trainer that gets duct taped to a locker door and then locked in there? Seriously. Everybody they down this poor guy until they need that extra point at the end of the game. I mean, what would you do? Because I don't want to see them eliminate another job or sissify the NFL.
I don't, first of all, it is a job. And, I think it's ingrained in the culture of the game. And I don't think you want to be messing with the goalposts either, because I think they're just about right when it comes to the, that gives you a narrow area when you're kicking field goals.
Yeah.
And you don't want to adjust the goalposts just because you think the extra point is automatic. And it's just like Jeff said, everybody thinks that's automatic. And I'll tell you what, I have seen any number of games where that has come into play.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to have one blocked, or you're going to have trouble. It's going to be a bad snap. Weather always comes into play.
Well, I liken it to sort of like being a golfer. It becomes a mental question at the point when a kicker has to come in and win a game for somebody.
Well, why don't they do what they do in the arena football? They make them goalposts really skinny.
Yeah. Well, here's the other reason why Belichick wants those cameras in the end zone, because there have just been too many incidents of hazing on these rookie kickers who are getting duct taped to these goalposts.
It happened in the movie one time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure it happens in real
Jam,
life.
wasn't that? Oh, no.
No, it was a football version of Space Jam. I can't recall the name. But, Jimmy, I was just kidding. But here again, okay, that's serious stuff. I mean, just leave it at 1 point. Or when you score a touchdown, you give the guy 7. I mean, that's what I'm saying. How hard is it to come up with a decision? Just leave it there.
The networks are kind of probably a way in, because they they need those commercial breaks also. Now, really, they do. They get that extra point in after the touchdown.
Well, but they take the break right after the field goal, right? So here's what you do: as soon as the touchdown's over, you take that 2-3 minute break. Then, regardless, So I don't know. I just happened to see that on the internet today, and I said, I'm going to throw that out to our guys and see what they think about that. Real quick, Dave, you were at Erie over the weekend. Erie Explosion, indoor football getting started. How was it up in Erie yesterday for the Explosion?
Great turnout at Erie Insurance Arena, but Lehigh, in the end, walks out of Erie Insurance Arena with a 50-43 victory, as there were 2 turnovers at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And talking about 2 rookie quarterbacks in Mason Espinoza and Jeff Sinclair. And Jeff Sinclair was in at the end, a bad snap from center, and the ball's on the ground. Lehigh Valley gets it, takes it in. And then later, Erie trying to spend the time, run the clock out, and Sinclair is back to pass, and he's holding the football out there like a loaf of bread, and it's a strip sack. Then they go in the end zone again and make it a 50-43 final. So they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
But here again, Erie's had a really fine tradition in indoor football. It's just named differently than arena football. You guys are in a new league this year, and you had about 4,000 people show up for that game yesterday. So they must be doing something right.
No, it's there's a really great staff up there working on promotions and things, and it's been a good team. Sean Liotta, to me, is a coach that can probably go anywhere he wants. I'm surprised he's not at least in a college environment somewhere, because he's the type of guy that can get a lot out of the players. And I think the fans appreciate that as well. And I think this loss actually gives them a jumping off point. And to be honest with you, rookie quarterback, hey, what happens with them?
Yeah.
They've got to be out there and play every game and get the hang of things. And eventually the jitters, nerves, and other things that you may do that cause a loss in one game, you don't repeat again the next game.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Liotta is also a high school assistant football coach. Was it Clareton that he was involved in, Clareton Bears? And does he ever talk about that outbreak on the field after the state championship game this year? Was that them that went kind of...
in his opinion, that was a little bit overplayed. He said there were, I think, 2 players that were disappointed, and they let their frustration out in a way that they should not have.
Yeah.
And, it looked a certain way on the field, but, and I don't know if the PIAA has totally put that to rest yet or not.
Yeah.
We'll have to see if they make any decisions heading into next season.
But I just happened to hear during the broadcast he was part of that coaching squad, and I agree with you. The guy has the skills. He could actually coach in college ball if he wanted to.
I have no doubt about it. I think Coach Liotta could go anywhere he wants as far as colleges go. But I don't think I'm not sure what I've never been around the coach quite a bit, and have not asked him what his quote unquote real job is.
Okay,
so I don't know.
Okay.
That may be the issue.
Well, ask him tonight whenever you get off the air with us and do your show at 8:00 on Erie Explosion Football. Hey, best of luck to those guys. Let me ask you, speaking of luck, man, the Penguins came up with a couple of wins over the weekend, Dave. I mean, are you starting to feel hopeful now, at least? Feel a little bit better about that?
No.
Okay. I can't get this guy excited about the Penguins at all.
Well, I see them. I still. I think Jimmy last time I was on basically dismissed them as not even getting out of the first round. I don't know if Jeff was on that bandwagon or not. I think they do get out of the first round, but I don't think they go any further unless Marc-Andre Fleury goes unconscious.
Really?
And that to me, in all the years that I've been following the Penguins, if you want to know who's going to win the Stanley Cup, it's the goalie.
Yeah.
It truly is. I have never seen a game that boils down to that one factor, because if that guy can go lights out on the opposition, there's going to be a way a team's going to get probably one across at the other end.
Well, before I wrap up your portion real quick on the Penguins, and I wanted to ask you this, any word on Letang and his injury, and is he out of the hospital? Have we found out anything about him?
Yeah, he's out of the hospital.
He is, Jimmy?
He's out of the hospital. It's day-to-day concussion.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so...
you don't see him coming back anytime soon, Dave, in that situation then? Or is there a protocol they have to follow?
There is a protocol that they have to follow, and there's conditions. And, of course, as we all know from watching TV sports, especially anything to do with Pittsburgh, UPMC allegedly has the best concussion clinic this side of whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure he will not be back until he is absolutely in good enough condition to stay out there. So that's a tough loss. I'll tell you what, the guy brings a lot of offense from the defense. So,
well, I got to let you go, Dave, because I know you have a show to do at 8:00 with Sean Liotta of Erie Explosion. Dave, thanks for coming on the show again with us. We'll see you next Monday, hopefully, okay?
Good to be with you guys. Finish up strong, guys.
We will.
We'll do.
Hold on the line, Jeff and Jimmy. We've got more Monday Night Sports Talk coming up in just a moment. If you'd like to call us and get involved in the next 8 minutes or so, 814-619-4286 is our number. 814-619-4286. Get you in the door. We can chat with you like we did with Jenny. All right, give us a call here on Monday Night Sports Talk. Need printing services done with quality, on time, and at a reasonable price? Then stop by Images Print Shop in downtown Huntington, where they can help you design and print brochures, business forms, business cards, newsletters, flyers, and so much more. Images Print Shop is your hometown print shop and web hosting service dedicated to excellent and quality service at affordable prices. See what Images Print Shop can do for you online at imagesprintshop.com or call us weekdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 643-1796.
Kick off your appetite with great food from Original Italian Pizza in downtown Huntington, where Bearcat fans huddle up before and after the big game. OIP in downtown Huntington provides your taste buds with appetizers, dinners, pizzas, subs, and so much more. Stop by OIP in downtown Huntington for a sandwich, meal, and cold drinks 7 days a week, or call ahead for takeouts at 643-0665 or 643-0666. OIP in downtown Huntington with the best food and the lowest prices in town.
What does sacrifice mean to you? Is it giving up your time and energy to keep America safe? Is it putting yourself in harm's way to protect our nation's way of life? No? Then maybe it's giving up that third latte to take care of the heroes that do.
The VFW makes it easy to help. Just call 1-855-9-HELP-VET. That's 855-9-HELP-VET.
The VFW. No one does more for veterans.
This message brought to you by the Huntington VFW Post 1754 on Penn Street. It's Monday Night Sports Talk live on the airnetwork.net. Glad to have you along, by the way. Thanks again to Jenny and Marty Everhart out of Huntington. They gave us a call and got them on the air, talk a little bit of Pirate baseball. In addition to the upcoming season, Huntington Little League, by the way, kicking off on April the 11th. That's Saturday. And I think, Jeff, that might be the first day of trout season, because traditionally sometimes it kind of follows lines like that.
No, we've already got that figured in the schedule. Limited games that day. I think that's the next weekend.
I think you're right. In our
first
part
day of trout season, and
yeah,
that's kind of like a national holiday in our neck of the woods.
Well, you know what's weird about that whole fishing thing on trout season now. It's all changed since I was a lad. Everybody started the same day, but the guys down south of us, down around Harrisburg, get to start a week earlier than we do. So that kind of pisses me off. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going down there. The weekend they open up, I'm catching nerve fishing and bringing them back to Central PA.
Trout tag and off you go.
Yeah, I am. Anyhow, back to sports talk. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But also baseball season. Little League, of course, in Huntington, starting on Saturday, April 11th. Get down there because it's a thrilling day. I know there's lots of excitement. That parking lot is filled up. I hope that parking lot's in better shape, Jeff, than it was last year with those mounds and mounds of dirt.
It's all cleaned up now. The borough got in there. Of course, they're doing a major renovation there at the water treatment plant that sits right there but they've got it cleaned out and everything's back inside their fences. So they did a super job for us. So we're good to go.
Fantastic. On another note, locally, by the way, some of the Huntington seniors, of course, heading to an All-Star game in basketball this weekend. Jeff, tell us a little bit about the upcoming All-Star basketball game. We'll have some Bearcats, some Mount Union Trojans, some JV Hornets, I guess, maybe some Williamsburg Pirates. I don't know.
Well, let's see. I know for sure. Well, Dan Clark, who's the head coach at West Branch, putting this thing together. It's the inaugural Senior All-Star Madness game. It's this Saturday up at West Branch High School.
Yeah.
Doors going to open at 5. The tip-off at 6. There's 24 players from across the region, 2 12-man teams. The Purple Rains are going to take on the High Flyers.
Okay.
And Huntington is sending Coburn Frederick, Nate Gearhart, and my son, Matt Speck.
All right.
Mount Union, Trayvon Walker and B.J. Lohner are going to represent the Trojans.
Yeah.
Got 5 players, and their names are escaping me. They're coming from Tyrone. And I know the coach, I talked to him today, going to be some players there from Brockway. So all around the region, and one last chance for these seniors who deserve it to get out on the court. And what they're going to do that I think is really neat, like some of the Huntington guys, the team teams aren't going to be together like the guys from Tyrone.
Oh, really?
Some are going to be on the Purple Rain. Some are on the High Flyers. Same thing with Huntington. So you're going to have Huntington matched up against Huntington, Mount Union against Mount Union.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a unique little
that'll
twist.
be fun, like playing on the schoolyard, probably like a lot of the kids did, like Matt did with some of his friends back in the day then.
Yep, so that's going to be that's going to be interesting, kind of a new twist, and because we see the traditional, it's usually the Mirror Classic, which is the Blair County against all the surrounding.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to break those teams down and put Huntington against Huntington, and should be a fun night. And the price, admission free.
No way!
Wow.
So Saturday night, if you need one more high school fix, come on out and honor some of these great seniors who might be strapping on the shoes one last time.
And that'll be at Morrisdale, Pennsylvania, which is West Branch Area High School or West Branch High School, and it starts at what time on Saturday?
6 o'clock. Doors open at 5.
All right, be
hats
there.
Off to Dan Clark. Great job.
Yeah, be there or be square. Is this actually the first real All-Star matchup they've had, other than the Riley game? I mean, for the area kids from Huntington.
Well, I think there's been, other people have tried some attempts at different things, and this is the first one, and it sounds like the coach would like to make this a annual event, so hats off, and
best of luck.
Looking forward to it.
All right, go Matt, because I'm sure you'll have tears in your eyes as he throws up that last three-pointer, man. Best of luck to him.
Again.
And the other again, and the other kids. And I'm sure we'll see that on the Huntington channel. By the way, some snippets of it on YouTube, right, Jeff? You'll have some of that?
You'll see the whole thing. We'll have that one loaded up.
All right, fantastic. Looking forward to it. Jimmy and Jeff, I want to ask you this question. It's probably one of the most important questions you'll get asked today regarding sports. It happens every year. It's one of those most dynamic events of the year. I've been watching it. I've gone to live shows basically all my life, from a teenager when I lived in Altoona to the time I became a grown man. It was called WWF back then.
Lord.
It's now called WWE. Now, let me ask you this, guys, for real, because I know this is probably real wrestling. Not wrestling, but wrestling.
Wrestling.
Now, Rhonda came out yesterday, of course. And I didn't buy this package to watch her, but she came out, obviously, and she was going to get tough. Snoop Dogg was there, and I don't know. He's been on a couple of the shows recently, but let's face it. Let's be real here. WWE, it's growing, it has grown, but what's most popular now, Jimmy, WWE or MMA? I mean, what in your mind is the popularity for people your age and younger?
Well, I don't watch wrestling anymore, so I would say MMA, but I did watch the clips of The Rock beating Triple H, and then I saw Ronda Rousey with the armbar on Stephanie McMahon. I must have watched that like 10 or 15 times.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm going to watch the Sting match against Triple H, and Hulk Hogan comes out, who...
Oh, he's a little old now, but that's all right. Chuck Norris is coming to the next one.
With Scott Hall, and I was just like, what the heck? WWE is trying to do something big because their stock's falling, and they want to try to raise the stock up.
Okay.
So I think WrestleMania helped them out with that, but if it was my pick, I would say MMA.
Okay, and Jeff, your thought on what's more popular these days? Because I know in Huntington, those real wrestling fans might tune into maybe MMA just because it's something new. I don't know.
That seems to be the hot ticket is the MMA. Me and professional wrestling, I'm Chief Jay Strongbow and Haystacks Calhoun kind of guy.
Thank you.
So,
I'm the Iron Sheik and Steve Austin. Of course, all rolled into one. I become the Junkyard Dog.
And hey, the Rock hosted SNL on Saturday night and did a great job. He was the Rock Obama.
Oh, was he? Okay. Oh my God. Hey, speaking of which, Snoop Dogg was one of the guys there, and everybody just shows up. It's a wonder Kevin Hart hasn't shown up. I like to take on his little butt, in the ring. Kevin Hart can get him in a headlock and then start kicking the crap out of him, sort of like Ronda would do to him. But anyhow, having said that, someday, who knows? Maybe I can take on Snoop Dogg.
Hey, and Mitt Romney's getting in the boxing ring here soon for a benefit. That should be interesting.
How long do you think that's going to last?
Mercifully, hopefully not long.
I can tell you what's going to happen there, Jeff, right off the bat. He's not going to show up. Just like he's not going to show up in this next election. I'd rather take on Hillary, but that's for another day and another show. Jeff Speck from Huntington and Jimmy Ty from Johnstown. Thank you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, thanks for having us.
Let's do it again next week. I'll see you on Monday Night Sports Talk here on the AirNetwork.net. Thanks for listening.